You must be the new researcher HQ sent. I'm your survey, exploration, and research assistant AI. You may call me Sarah. I'll be providing support to you during your dives. Thank you for your hard work on behalf of the Ocean Research Project. The head office reports that you're one of their best. Please begin moving so that I can confirm your location. Location confirmed. You may now swim whichever way you like. Now, let's make sure the lenses in your mask are working correctly so you can perform your research. When you scan a creature, you should be able to see its biological data. Try scanning the fish over there. Scan successful. Note that if you keep holding the button, you'll be able to scan more creatures. When you scan a new organism, its biological data is transmitted to HQ. Scan more and more organisms to build up your reputation as a researcher. You might have noticed that after you scanned it, the light you saw on it disappeared. I'll get into why that happened at a later point. This is the Veiled Sea, an ocean region whose topographical features are in constant flux. Feel free to explore, and simply let me know when you are ready to continue your dive training. We've arrived at the canyon. As you can see, there's only a narrow passage between the cliffs. Our destination is a nearby cave. I'll mark its location for you. Down currents tend to occur in areas like this that have steep drop-off. A down current occurs because the water is actually falling into the crevice toward the seafloor. Isn't nature fascinating? You will notice a large reef composed of many diverse species of coral. We call this the world coral. It's home to a unique ecosystem, with numerous creatures living in and around it. Research shows it is critical to sustaining life throughout the Veiled Sea. But look here. Some parts of it are dying. The cause of this necrotizing effect isn't currently understood, but it appears to be spreading, gradually killing this bustling hub of underwater life. If the necrosis continues, a point of no return will be reached. The world coral will die. It is a critical part of the ecosystem in the Veiled Sea, so such an event would profoundly impact life here and in the surrounding ocean. Project Aegis was founded to investigate why this is happening and stop the necrosis before it's too late. You are now the newest member of Project Aegis. Welcome. Ready to get started? Of course, as your assistant AI, I'll continue to provide you with navigational guidance and research support. I should note that you will not be allowed to return to the world coral without specific clearance from HQ. Now that you've gotten a good look at it, we'd better be on our way. Huh? My sensors are showing an increase in activity. The cave is starting to shake. Analyzing. I detect unusual biometric signs nearby. Caution advised. Sending emergency transmission to HQ. Major disruption occurring at the World Coral. Researchers in the area may be in danger. There it is, and it's enormous. It looks like an extremely large variant of coelacanth. I've searched our database, and there are few examples of a coelacanth of that size, or with that golden coloring. I understand you want to investigate, but it's not safe. Seismic activity detected. The seafloor is shifting. There's a risk that that creature will be agitated. I advise not to go near it. Use a dolphin kick to get away faster. You should be out of danger now. And your vitals readout indicates you're not hurt. It's unusual to have such a strange experience on your first expedition. Then again, this is called the Ocean of Mystery for a reason. I hope we meet that creature again. But first, you'll be learning about salvage from one of the other divers on the team. HQ reviewed our data and confirmed the creature we saw last time was a new species. I can only hope we see it again. But for today, we'll focus on finding salvage. There are lots of objects to be discovered in these waters, from household trash to ancient treasures. Part of your role as a researcher is to salvage these artifacts, bringing them to the surface so we can study them further. To help you learn, you'll be joined by another diver. Here he is now. Daniel is one of the most senior divers on the team. He's very knowledgeable about the Veiled Sea. Shall we get started? As Daniel would no doubt tell you, the best way to find salvage is to look for glowing objects on the ocean floor. Salvage found. Well done spotting it. Transmission from HQ. We've been asked to relocate to the northwest and search for salvage there. Salvage found. It seems the harder something is to find, the more valuable it is. HQ has granted permission to search in the northeast. Please continue looking for salvage. This merits further investigation. I'll call Daniel over. It appears to be a stone tablet, a very old one. The square patterns suggest it might be a chessboard. I'll cross-reference against the database and try to provide further analysis. Please stand by. Result found, 74% match. This appears to be a relic of the Oan's people who perished tens of thousands of years ago. Little is known about the Oans, but it's said they built a thriving civilization on the Veiled Sea. In legend they are referred to as the Guardians of the Sea, an advanced people who lived in harmony with the ocean. The value of a genuine Oan's artifact would be immeasurable. Request received from HQ. We've been asked to bring the tablet back for study. If it really is an Oan's artifact, it would be a monumental discovery. HQ will Good morning. I hope you were able to get some rest after all the excitement yesterday. Today, I'll be teaching you about tagging. Tags are a useful way to communicate with other divers, but they can also help you navigate around in the ocean. Let's start by tagging a creature. Scan one and select the tag you want to apply while focused on it. Sailfin tang. This yellowish, longfin tang lives in rocky areas and reefs. Members of the species have stripes from a young age. Though a juvenile will swim with its fins spread out, the adult only opens its fins to frighten other creatures. An herbivore, this fish likes to feed on algae and moss. Tag successfully applied. You'll be able to keep track of this creature's location on your map. Tags can also be attached to salvage. Let's try it. There appears to be salvage in that area. Tag successfully applied. This salvage will now be marked on your map. You can also see tags on your map from divers who are sharing with you. I'll go into more detail about sharing later. It looks like Daniel saw your tag and decided to head this way. Receiving transmission. The researchers at HQ have concluded their study of the artifact. The artifact was confirmed to be an ancient relic of the Oan's people. HQ is referring to it as the Mystery Board. On it are squares containing inscriptions relating to the mysteries of the Veiled Sea. They've been called the 99 Mysteries. For some reason, due to properties not understood by HQ scientists, the squares appear to be capable of producing light. Scientifically speaking, that wouldn't be possible. Then again, it would hardly be the first phenomenon we've seen with no rational explanation. The Mystery Board will prove very valuable if it helps us learn more about these mysterious waters. Or shows us how to save the world coral. Hello there. I see someone has decided to join us for your last day of training. Daniel must be feeling competitive after you found the Mystery Board. Today, you'll be free to make your own way through the Veiled Sea, using what you've learned as you explore. You may notice that creatures are easier to see after you scan them, since the shroud of light around them goes away. HQ's working hypothesis is there are luminous bacteria that get repelled. This process is known as collecting light. Transmission from HQ. We have updated information about the status of the world coral. HQ monitoring systems have detected light emissions at the world coral and a concomitant reduction in necrotic matter. It seems that somehow, light is returning to the world coral and restoring it. Huh? Look at that. It's the same large coelacanth that we encountered last time. Risk level, moderate. While its temperament toward humans is unclear, the creature does not seem as agitated as last time. I advise trying to scan it. But please be careful. You did it. Scan successful. I'll transmit our data on the supersized coelacanth to headquarters. HQ has assigned this new species the name Raja Emmas, which translates to Golden King. It's never been studied before, so needless to say, the data you gathered will be quite illuminating. You may not know that HQ maintains a numbered database of unidentified marine life, or UMLs for short. By scanning Raja Emmas, you've officially discovered a UML. Congratulations! Your career with Project Aegis is off to a promising start. Strangely, it seems to have started shining in response to your discovery of Raja Emmas. It appears you were right. We'll have to keep an eye on the mystery board as we do our research. And with that, your training is now concluded. Between finding the mystery board and discovering Raja Emma's, it's been an eventful few days. I look forward to working with you both again. Happy diving! Teardrop butterfly fish. This fish has a distinctive mark on the dorsal part of its body, almost like a teardrop. Its thick snout contains tiny, thread-like teeth that it uses to eat coral polyps. There's another species called the Indian teardrop butterfly fish that looks similar, but it lacks the white belly of this fish. Teardrop butterfly fish. Yellow tang. This fish's striking yellow color makes it popular at aquariums. When young, it groups up into shoals, but as an adult, it will tend to live in isolation. It is usually found in shallow waters near reefs, but it can go to depths of up to 45 meters. It has a mild temperament and subsists on stringy algae. African pompano. This fish has long, thread-like tips on its dorsal and anal fins, and the surface of its body is a sparkly silver. When young, it is shaped like a diamond, but as it grows, its silhouette becomes more like a horse mackerel's. Its preferred depth also changes as it ages, from near the surface to deeper in the water. It eats small fish and crustaceans. Green humphead parrotfish. This fish, which is gray or a light blue-green, has a head that looks like a big, inflatable crown. Males of the species tussle for territory by banging their heads into one another. The imposing fish lives around rocks and reefs, and unusually, consumes living corals. It also eats algae and crustaceans. Giant grouper. This stout, big-mouthed fish is the largest of the groupers. A massive carnivore, it weighs up to 400 kilograms and is known to eat some sea turtles. Due to the strong pull of its mouth when it feeds, it is feared in some areas more than sharks. Sadly, overfishing has put this species at risk of extinction. King angelfish. The adult of this species is dark blue, but as a young fish, it is bright yellow with pale stripes. Its name is fitting, as it has a crown-like pattern on its head. It is a medium-sized angelfish most comfortable at depths below 50 meters. King Giant manta ray. Well known to the general public as well as to divers, this is the world's largest ray. Each manta ray has a unique pattern of black spots on its stomach that helps to tell them apart. These black spots can spread across the entire stomach, making some manta rays appear entirely black. This ray sometimes jumps out of the water. This is thought to be because the ray is startled or trying to remove parasites. Blue-green damselfish. Found in shallow waters near coral reefs, this tropical fish has a slightly protruding lower jaw. Its shimmering emerald green scales change color as light hits them. A timid sort, it prefers to swim in groups. In moments of danger, the entire shoal of fish will dart for cover behind corals. Royal angelfish. This fish has black and pale blue stripes down its striking yellow body. When young, it has a circular pattern like an eye on its dorsal fin. It lives among rocks or coral reefs, forming harems. In rare cases, a specimen may have color mutations, but this makes it no less prized by enthusiasts. Royal angel. Knobsnout parrotfish. A parrotfish of a deep blue color seen in coral reefs and rocky areas. It sometimes eats zoanthids. At night, it makes a sort of sleeping bag out of mucus and sleeps under the shade of a rock. Because of the lethal palytoxin stored in its organs, anglers who catch it are advised to release it. Green humphead parrotfish. This fish, which is gray or a light blue-green, has a head that looks like a big, inflatable crown. Males of the species tussle for territory by banging their heads into one another. The imposing fish lives around rocks and reefs, and unusually, consumes living corals. It also eats algae and crustaceans. Threadfin butterfly fish. It has a black circular pattern at the rear of its dorsal fin, from which a filament trails. The fish inhabits coral reefs and feeds on coral polyps and sea anemones with its mouth of small, hair-like teeth. Its range is quite vast, and it can be found in many different places across the ocean. While it may sometimes form schools, it is most often found alone or in pairs. Threadfin butterfly fish. It has a black circle. Barramundi. This large, carnivorous fish lives mainly in freshwater. It preys on small fish and crustaceans. It has a pointed snout, tall body, and a large bulge near the back. As it is similar to the Japanese lates, it was once thought to be the same species. It is strongly territorial, and popular among anglers worldwide. Lined surgeonfish. This bright yellow fish is covered in pale blue lines. It is fiercely territorial and will attack any fish that enters its domain. An herbivore, it eats algae attached to rocks and corals. Its flashy looks make it appealing to divers, but care should be taken not to touch the sharp spines near its tail. Sea Goldie, carp pattern. A goldie with a rare pattern that makes it look just like a Japanese carp. Since the patterns of these carp are the result of selective breeding by humans, it is unclear how they might have begun presenting among wild fish. It seems only males exhibit these patterns. Sea Goldie. Red sea bream. Pale red with light blue flecks, its coloration is thought to be connected to its environment in some way. It lives on its own, deep in the ocean, and feeds on prey such as prawns and crabs. This species holds cultural significance to some, and since prolonged sun exposure can cause visible damage to its skin, scientists are studying ways to mitigate this danger. Pyramid butterfly fish. This species has brown, yellow, and white coloring. It can be seen gathering around reefs and feeding on floating plankton. A comb-like structure in its gills lets it filter out plankton from the water it takes into its mouth. This lets it feed without swallowing too much water. Spotfin porcupine fish. A fish living in the shallow areas of coral and rocky reefs. It has spines all over its body, but these are shorter and fewer in number than those of the mammal it's named for. When it is startled or senses danger, it quickly swells up its body into a spiky ball. Clown anemone fish. This jewel of the sea is easily identified by its distinctive, bright orange and white pattern. A special covering on the surface of its body makes it resistant to sea anemone venom, creating a symbiotic relationship. When threatened by another fish, it hides among anemones for protection. Clown anemone fish. This jewel of the sea is easily identified by its distinctive banded hound shark. This fish has a wide head and slightly rounded mouth surrounded by lobes of skin. It is ovoviviparous, meaning the eggs are incubated inside the mother's body. It produces around 20 young that feed on the yolk of their egg. Because it lives in changing habitats, such as shallow coastal waters, it is not overly affected by environmental change. It is often kept in aquariums because it is docile and easy to breed. Blue-spotted ribbon-tail ray. This ray is greenish-yellow with large blue spots all over its body. It also has a long tail with stingers on it and 2 blue lines running from root to tip. Because this species appears in relatively shallow waters, it is commonly sighted by divers. McCosker's flasher wrasse. A member of the Parachelinus family with a long, thread-like filament poking out from its dorsal fin. Its body is bright red with lines running along the sides, and the delicate designs on its outstretched fins make it popular as an aquarium fish. McCosker's flasher wrasse. Short-tail stingray. This member of the red stingray family can be identified by the white spots between its body and fins. It rarely dives into sandy areas and generally migrates near the seafloor. It is a large animal, but gentle in disposition. It is also an active swimmer and fairly easy to keep, so it is a popular fish in aquariums. Pacific white-sided dolphin. This small dolphin species is white, black, and gray in color, and has a dorsal fin that curves out like a sharp sickle. It is active and assertive, known to approach boats and ships. Since it swims in huge schools of 100 or more, it is a popular target for dolphin watching. Large-head hairtail. Its long, sleek, silver body resembles a sword. It has no scales and is covered in a silvery substance called guanine. This fish is notable for its curious way of swimming. It treads around in the water, its eyes pointed upward to look for prey. It lives in shoals on the seabed. Yellowfin tuna. A type of tuna found near the surface in warmer waters, it has a dark blue back and stripes of vibrant yellow along its body. The second dorsal and anal fins stretch longer and longer as the fish matures. It preys on fish, crustaceans, and cephalopods such as squid. Giant sunfish. A sunfish that makes its home in warmer waters, it has a huge body with a hump on its head. It will eat small fish and plankton, but seems to especially like jellyfish. At times, this species has been seen rising to the surface and laying its body flat. This may be to remove parasites by exposing them to sunlight. Bicolor parrotfish, red. A bicolor parrotfish of a rare red hue, it seems to have changed colors by ingesting pigments in the region's algae. Vibrant red shade aside, it still bears the unusual expression and small mouth peculiar to this glum-looking species of fish. Unicorn leatherjacket. The largest of the filefish, this species can reach a total length of 75 centimeters. Its mouth is puckered and it has an extremely flat body. Though the juvenile may have spots, these tend to fade with age. While not always the case, this species tends to form shoals. Stark's demoiselle. Easily recognized by its beautiful dark blue coloring with a yellow stripe running from the tip of its mouth all the way along its back. Unlike other damselfish, it tends to live in deep water reefs and coral reefs. It is very wary and will conceal itself amid the rocks when it feels threatened. Cacao Maharaja. The leatherback is the largest turtle, and this is the largest leatherback. The ship that first sighted and reported this giant was the Cacao Maharaja, and the turtle has somehow taken the same name. It prefers to eat jellyfish, and it is believed that it must consume a significant number of jellyfish to maintain its impressive size. Clown triggerfish. This fish is easily identified by its white polka dot underbelly and orange puckered up mouth. A young fish has polka dots over its entire body and is a popular aquarium fish. However, it needs to be handled with care, as it has a short temper and tendency to bite with its sharp teeth. Black scraper. The juvenile of this fish is fond of eating jellyfish, and in particular Nomura's jellyfish, which is useful as that species has become overpopulated in recent years. As it grows into maturity, it becomes more omnivorous. Its body is bluish-gray, sometimes with cloudy patches along the sides. Banded angelfish. A primarily white fish with a black line running from over its eyes to the end of its tail fin. On closer inspection, a white border can be seen around this line and the black areas on its anal and tail fins. A nervous sort, it often hides on ledges or in caves. It eats sponges, fish eggs, and algae. Dogtooth tuna. It is often found inhabiting the coral reefs in shallow shoreline areas. It can be distinguished from other tuna species by its lower first dorsal fin and its wavy lateral line. While smaller members of the species swim in large schools, larger ones are found in pairs or go on their own. Kidako moray. This carnivorous fish has a long, slender body and a large mouth full of sharp teeth. It lives in crevices in coral and other reefs, and it will attack if it is approached carelessly. However, when it expels parasites or leftover food, it opens its mouth and allows tiny prawns to clean it. It waits patiently with its mouth open for the cleaning to finish. It's rather sweet. Sockeye salmon. This red-bodied fish spends a few years living in freshwater before migrating to the open ocean, where it subsists on a diet of zooplankton and small fish. A sockeye salmon and a kokanee salmon are closely related, but while a sockeye salmon will spend most of its life in saltwater, a kokanee salmon prefers freshwater. Greater amberjack. A large, carnivorous fish that makes its home in warm waters all across the world. When it is young, it has a brown banded pattern across its body, but this fades as it matures. A quirk of the species is that when any member of the school stops moving, the others will halt as well. Common dolphin. This dolphin has overlapping patches of yellowish brown and gray on its body. It eats squid and small fish. Because this species has a nervous temperament, it is rarely kept in captivity. It lives in pods with other members of its species, mainly in temperate and tropical waters, and likes to swim alongside and ride the wakes of man-made watercraft. Horsehair crab. This crab is covered in short setae and prefers to live on sandy or muddy areas of the seafloor. It molts repeatedly as it grows, and feeds mostly on benthic, bottom-dwelling organisms such as polychaetes and shellfish. It has a round carapace and stout legs. It does not grow quickly, and the species has trouble recovering from overfishing. Luna lionfish. Large, long dorsal and pectoral fins let this fish move gracefully through the water. However, these fins are venomous and extremely dangerous even if brushed against. Thanks to the intense pain they cause, this fish is a feared sight in the water. Orca. A marine mammal with white patches next to its eyes. It is a social carnivore, hunting in small packs consisting only of direct relatives. At the base of its dorsal fin, there is a gray pattern called a saddle patch. This is unique to each individual and does not change, making it a useful marker to identify an orca. Stone flounder. This species has a stone-like, hard part of its body, which is the origin of its name. It prefers to live near the seafloor in deeper waters, but it can sometimes be found in freshwater areas as well. Its body is covered with white spots that resemble pebbles, and unlike other species of flounder, the stone flounder does not have any scales. American lobster. This massive lobster can grow to over a meter in length. It prefers cold waters and lives hidden under rocks. The color varies with the individual's feeding habits. It molts its shell periodically, renewing some internal organs at the same time. It ages slowly due to certain enzymes in its body and lives quite a long time. Orange spine unicornfish. Sharp spines around its tail make this fish risky to handle with bare hands. Although the unicornfish family often sports a horn-like protuberance, this species does not. Instead, the male has long strands at the ends of its tail fin. It lives in small shoals and feeds mainly by pecking at algae. Small-scale blackfish. This fish is similar to the large-scale blackfish, but it is darker in color and happens to be a better swimmer. It also has smaller, finer scales and sharper teeth. It can usually be found close to shore, and it is an omnivore, eating both crustaceans and algae. Gold-eye rockfish. This fish is easily identified by its pale red body and large eyes. It hatches its eggs inside its body, and its young are released only when they have grown to about 5 millimeters. It spends its first 120 days floating among drifting seaweed, after which it is able to live near the seabed. It moves farther into the depths as it matures. Blackhead sea bream. A slightly larger, black-colored sea bream. While it may be migratory, some members of the species prefer to stick to their territory. This species forms small shoals and generally feeds on fish, crustaceans, and mollusks. But because it is an omnivore, it can also be fed with melon. Dwarf sawfish. This creature has dozens of teeth arranged in a saw-like pattern. Its body is covered with sharp scales known as placoid scales. It has traits of both a shark and a ray, but it is classified as a ray because its gills are on the ventral side. As this species is rarely captured anywhere in the world, there is much that is still unknown about it. Cloudy cat shark. The cloudy cat shark has a fairly wide head with cat-like eyes. There is also a detailed pattern on its body. Females sometimes have bite wounds on them because, while mating, the male bites the female in order to position itself. Japanese bullhead shark. This shark has a large head and distinctive ridges above its eyes that can look like cat ears or cow horns. It lies still in reef crevices or on the seafloor during the day, then goes out to look for food at night, using its strong teeth to crush and eat mainly mollusks and crustaceans. Blue tang. A beautiful, vibrant blue fish with a yellow tail fin, often seen in coral reefs. Its thin body lets it hide in crevices in the reef when threatened. Although it primarily feeds on algae, it also has a strong liking for lettuce, which it is given in some aquariums. White true valley. A large horse mackerel that swims in schools. It is a carnivore that preys on small fish and crustaceans. Its body is flat like a sea bream's, with blue-green on its back and a white abdomen. A young member of the species will also have a yellow stripe on its body. It occasionally grows up to a meter long. Bigfin reef squid. This species typically lives in deep waters, though it has been known to come into shallow waters during spawning season. It swims by wiggling the semicircular, transparent fins on its body, and observes its surroundings with its small, shiny eyes. These eyes, covered with a protective membrane, offer a wide field of view and allow this creature to spot potential predators from almost any direction. Orange spine unicornfish, striped. An orange spine unicornfish with rather unusual stripes on its body. This atypical pattern may be a survival adaptation, as it blurs its outline and obscures its movements to predators, and research drone data indicates that there are many such predators nearby. Blackfin dartfish. This species of goby, one of over 2,000 that exist, has dark shading on its back half and the edges of its fins. When young, it has a black spot on its tail. It lives on the slopes of rocky reefs, grouped up into pairs or small shoals. It prefers middle depths, away from the seafloor. Fire goby. A colorful member of the goby family with a long dorsal fin and a flaming red tail. It stays away from the water's surface, preferring to hover over the seafloor. This species usually lives alone or in pairs and has a lifespan of around 5 years. Despite the sharp look in its eyes, it has a mild personality. Elegant firefish. This fish's bright coloring, with white in front and purple in back, resembles that of the sky at dawn. It has a long dorsal fin and a pattern on its head that makes it look perpetually angry. It is found deeper in the water than other gobies and usually pairs up into male-female couples. Small-scale whiting. This fish belongs to the Silaginidae family and has a slightly blue body color. It typically lives in tide flats but is less common in reclaimed areas. It is similar to the Japanese whiting, but its bluish body and the black sessile spots on dorsal fin membrane set it apart. Japanese whiting. A small, beautiful fish with a slender, white body. This fish lives in shallow, sandy waters and primarily eats polychaetes and crustaceans. It typically lives in schools near the seafloor and uses the sand to hide from danger. Thanks to the marks on its body, it can blend in with the sand. Long spine porcupine fish. A spine fish living in coral and rocky reefs. Like a pufferfish, it can swell up its body, giving it the appearance of a chestnut burr. It has about 300 to 400 spines in total. In adulthood, it is often solitary and carnivorous, preying on crustaceans, mollusks, and benthic organisms. Japanese Spanish mackerel. This fish is somewhat slender for a mackerel, with a row of dark spots near its tail. It primarily eats small fish like anchovies and sandlances. It is usually spotted swimming in schools near the surface, but as seasons change, it may migrate to lower depths. Black-spotted puffer. This round fish's face looks a bit like a dog's from the front. It can be gray or yellow but is always covered in black spots. When startled, it draws water into its stomach, inflating itself and making the countless tiny spines on its body stand up. Although it usually swims at a leisurely pace, it is capable of short bursts of speed when it feels threatened. Spotted knifejaw. As a juvenile, this fish has a coarse pattern on its body, but as it matures, the spots become finer, like a leopard's. Its body also becomes taller, and its mouth more oblong. The fish is a carnivore, using its beak-like mouth to chomp into animals like crustaceans, sea urchins, and mollusks. Pelagic thresher. The upper half of its caudal fin, almost the same length as its body, is used to swim and also to hunt. It herds fish or squid into one place and beats them by swinging its tail furiously before eating the weakened prey. It is said to be docile and is unlikely to attack a human unless provoked. Chicken grunt. A medium-sized saltwater fish of an olive brown color, inhabiting shallow reefs and areas with seaweed. When it is young, it has a white belly and stripes on its back, but as it grows, these fade. It feeds on zooplankton and small crustaceans. Eeltail catfish. This member of the catfish family can be found living in saltwater, muddy seafloors, or reefs. It is notable for the venomous spines on the pectoral and dorsal fins, as well as for the way juveniles of the species form very dense schools. This is possible thanks to the strong pheromones the fish produces, which allow the schools to act in a uniform manner. An adult of this species, meanwhile, prefers to stay in the shade of rocks. Sea goldie, female. A grouper of the Ceronidae family that resembles a goldfish. With its orange body and the hint of pink in its eye, the female of the species cuts a fine figure. About 80% of the species is born female, with some changing genders when the number of males in the shoal decreases. Sunset antheas. This fish has a halo of violet on its head. The male is often pink or purple, whereas the female will wear a more subdued yellow. Since it lives in deep-sea coral reefs, it has rarely been observed, but it is known to swim together with closely related species. It only grows to about 8 centimeters long. Goldeye rock. Fox yakapeaver. This fish has a rounded tail and a fine speckled pattern on its body. It does look similar to the banded yakapeaver, but its wider body and white, narrower tail edge set it apart. It prefers to live in reef areas, dining on crustaceans and small fish. Bluefin trevally. A large fish of a shining cobalt blue tint, with numerous black spots speckling its skin. It swims independently, or groups into small shoals. Some of the larger specimens may have high concentrations of the toxic algae that causes ciguatera in humans. Broad cowtail ray. This ray sports a tail that not only has a venomous stinger in it, but is adorned with a frilly piece of skin. It tends to bury itself in the sandy seafloor with only its eyes sticking out. It swims in shoals and may sometimes appear in freshwater rivers. Ancient Mother. A newly discovered species of fin whale whose ecology and behavior are shrouded in mystery. In the area where it was discovered, this creature was called the Sacred Mother, and was worshipped as the progenitor of all life. While it is still regarded with mystique, it has also become prominent in merchandise at souvenir shops. Yellowtail. Also called the Japanese amberjack, this species has distinctive splashes of yellow on its body, including its tail. It is a carnivore that preys on small fish, crustaceans, and cephalopods. Orca, white. The orca is known to hunt marine mammals, its staple food, in groups with other orca, and there is a possibility that this indicates social characteristics within the species. This particular orca has had its coloration reversed compared to normal. The parts that are black on others are white on this one, and normally white parts are black. The cause of this mutation is unknown. Splendid Alfonsino. This red fish can be identified by its large, golden eyes. Primitive bones found in its skull have led people to believe that this fish has existed for approximately 100 million years. It is a perfect example of an ancient fish. Leopard whipray. This species can be recognized by the leopard pattern on its back. Its tail, twice as long as its body, has a venomous stinger at the tip. It is not very active and spends most of its time buried in the sandy seafloor. Chum salmon. This fish lives all over the world, commonly found in many rivers and oceans. It will migrate in schools and reach maturity over the course of 3 to 5 years. When its breeding season arrives, it will return to the river where it was born. During breeding season, the upper jaw of the male extends over the lower jaw, giving it a crooked snout. Skillfish. This thick-bodied, stubby-headed fish is primarily found in rocky reefs, and it has been seen at depths as far down as 1,000 meters. One of the largest scorpioniforms, it looks very similar to the long-toothed grouper. Striped bonito. A relative of tuna with rather distinctive teeth. Compared to the small and inconspicuous teeth of similar species, this fish's are larger and sharper. It also has thin stripes on its back. While it usually appears near the surface in coastal areas, it can also be found in the depths of the open ocean. Snow crab. This large crab is widely distributed in the deep sea. It prefers sandy or muddy areas. It is omnivorous, feeding on shellfish, polychaetes, and fish. It molts repeatedly as it grows, often twice a year, usually passing through over 10 instars, stages between moltings. Spiny-tooth parrotfish. The color of this small fish species varies from green to dark brown to almost gray, but it can be identified by the pink lines running from its eyes to its mouth, and the pattern of white dots on its body. There can sometimes be dark spots next to the pectoral fins. It mainly eats seaweed. Bicolor parrotfish. This fish has a mouth that resembles a parrot's beak. While mature males are a sparkling green, females are a more subdued brownish color. Meanwhile, juveniles are white with orange markings and possess a cuteness that makes them highly sought after by divers. Yellow boxfish, young. A fish that migrates with the seasons, it has a boxy, distended appearance and black spots all over its body. While the juvenile is quite colorful, the adult is a darker, more subdued shade. When it senses danger, it emits a poisonous mucus from its skin, making it a dangerous fish for humans to approach. Marquesas butterfly fish. This species of butterfly fish is characterized by a diagonal pattern that looks a bit like a downhill slope. Its body is white with black spots, and it has a dorsal fin that looks like a bright yellow coif. It lives on coral slopes next to reefs, and in sandy areas below 20 meters. It feeds on polyps. Gold-tailed demoiselle. The smallest member of the demoiselle family, this fish can be found in shallow waters. It looks similar to the sapphire devil, except for its yellow tail. It feeds on plankton, algae, and small crustaceans, and its strong temper means that it will aggress fish of the same size or smaller. Kuruma shrimp. This shrimp is characterized by its gray or light brown body color and its dark brown stripes. It is commercially important in some regions, but as a result of trade it has become an invasive species in parts of the Mediterranean, harming local species by competing for the same food sources. Ornate rock lobster. This hard-shelled animal is the largest in its family. It has 10 legs and 2 pairs of antennae, one long and thin, stretching out in front to sense flavor and odor, and the other heavier and stretched out over its shell that it uses to explore its immediate environs. Its shell is blue-green with a pale yellow pattern on the back. Harlequin sweetlips. When young, this fish is dark with 7 large white spots. As it grows and the white spots expand, spots the same color as the main body start to appear inside the white ones, and eventually it becomes pale with many dark spots. Spanish hogfish. A fish of the Labridae family residing in shallow reefs. Though the species always has beautiful shades of yellow and purple on its body, the exact patterning differs from fish to fish. It eats small fish and crustaceans and can grow up to 40 centimeters long, with males larger than females. Japanese fan lobster. This lobster has a flat body like a fan. When it feels threatened, it flees backward. Its larvae are sometimes called jellyfish riders for their habit of floating along with the jellyfish they also prey upon. Its shell is softer than that of a Japanese spiny lobster. Blue discus. This species has an attractive, metallic blue luster and is popular as an aquarium fish. Fish in the discus genus come in a variety of colors, and each has its own name. Not all of these colors have occurred naturally, many have been achieved by selective breeding. Gilded catfish. This giant catfish prefers to live in fast-flowing waters. It has large, slightly rounded fins and an appetite so intense it is said to eat anything it can fit into its mouth. In fact, it has been called man-eating because of stories claiming human bones have been found in its stomach long ago. Blue-lashed butterfly fish. Its yellow body is adorned with a white-rimmed black circle that looks like an eye. A strike in the eyes is fatal to a fish, so that's where predators usually aim. But if the pattern were mistaken for an eye and attacked, it would not be fatal. It eats coral polyps and crustaceans. Japanese eel. This fish lives in shallow freshwater but migrates to the deep ocean to spawn. Consequently, it can live in fresh, brackish, or sea water. Humans should take care to wash their hands thoroughly after touching the slimy mucus on the animal's skin. Japanese lates. This fish's eyes glow red when light is shined on them in the dark. It is related to the Nile perch and barramundi. The barramundi has eyes that glow gold under light. The Japanese lates is an ocean fish, but it has been known to enter brackish and freshwater areas sometimes. Elephant nose fish. This fish possesses an organ in its caudal peduncle, which it uses to generate a weak electromagnetic field to detect food and obstacles in the dark muddy waters it calls home. The origin of its name comes from the nose-looking part of its face. This is actually part of its lower jaw. Compared to the size of its body, it has an especially large brain, and research suggests it has the highest brain-to-body oxygen use ratio of any known vertebrates. Angelfish. A freshwater tropical fish that lives in rivers. Its dorsal and pelvic fins are very long. This fish earned its name from the way its fins give it an angelic appearance as it gracefully swims. It is somewhat territorial and prefers areas with considerable plant growth. When reproducing, the female will lay eggs in a circle, and then both the male and female will care for them. Transmission from HQ, unusual biometric signs have been detected at this dive site. A UML may be nearby. To locate it, we'll need to collect data from other anomalous creatures in the area. Your target's approximate locations will appear on the map as orange circles. When you're close to one, your scanner will also flash orange. Please try to find all the target creatures. Blackhead sea bream. Umbu pufferfish. The largest pufferfish to appear in freshwater areas, with most living in rivers and a few in lakes. It has a graceful way of swimming, its large tail fin propelling it through the water like a mermaid, and it likes to burrow in the sand. The coarse patterning of the young fish becomes finer as it ages. Its powerful teeth allow it to chew and eat mollusks, insects, and hard-shelled crustaceans. Spotted gar. This species of freshwater gar has a body pattern similar to that of a giraffe. It primarily lives in rivers, lakes, and marshes with slow currents and thick waterweed growth. It possesses a swim bladder that can also function as a lung, and although it has sharp teeth, it typically has a mild temperament. Small in size, its lifespan is usually around 10 years. Largemouth bass. This freshwater fish is also called black bass in some places. It is a carnivore, preying on fish, crustaceans, insects, and even birds and rodents. It is such a voracious eater that imports of this fish are banned in several regions because of the harm it can do to ecosystems. Thanatos. This enormous great white shark is feared throughout the Aegean Sea, where it is seen as the embodiment of evil and violence. It actively attacks people and boats, tallying numerous brutal incidents. Its many scars are proof of the countless battles it has fought, and it has cunningly evaded all human attempts to ensnare it. This creature is a monster born of years of ferocious fighting that can be seen all over the world, but only rarely. Big-eye trevally, spotted. Somehow, this species evolved to develop dark white spots that look like polka dots. It has a playful personality and a slow, considered way of swimming around. It is certainly a rare big-eye trevally specimen. Blackfin sea bass. When compared to the Japanese sea bass, this species of fish is taller, with a flatter, silvery white body. It has a protruding lower jaw. It is a saltwater fish that prefers the whitecaps created by waves in rough seas, and it is popular with sports anglers. Ribbon eel, yellow. When this unusual example of the species is young, it resembles a typical ribbon eel. However, as it matures, its coloration suddenly changes. The parts typically blue are yellow, and vice versa. Like the original species, it rarely closes its mouth, giving it the same somewhat adorable appearance. Japanese spiny lobster. This large lobster inhabits shallow reefs. During the day, it hides in the darker areas of the reef, retreating to the depths when it senses danger. It is mostly carnivorous, but eats a wide variety of food, including seaweed. Newborns are only about 1.5 millimeters long and look like white spiders. Six-gill stingray. A ray with a very long snout, it usually appears in the deep sea but is occasionally seen at shallower depths. Whereas most rays have 5 pairs of gill holes, this species has 6. Its body exhibits a gelatinous texture typical of fish living at the deepest depths of the sea. Notably, it also possesses the ampullae of Lorenzini organs, which let it detect prey based only on vibrations in the water. Bicolor angelfish. This yellow and blue fish lives in rocks and coral reefs. One male breeds with a harem of several females. When the male leaves, the largest female becomes male and takes over. Smaller females do not change sex, as they would not be able to participate in the harem without gaining size. Golden cuttlefish. This species has 10 arms, 2 of which are tentacles capable of expanding, contracting, and being stored in pockets on its body. It is able to change its appearance using the many pigment cells covering its surface. It is even able to change its actual physical shape at the same time. Purple Queen. It is worth seeking out schools of this beautiful deep purple Antheus near coral reefs. If you look closely, you will note a point to its mouth. The male can be told apart from the female by its reddish dorsal fin and the upturned mouth. Like other groupers, it forms into harems. Long-fin yellowtail. This fish looks similar to the greater amberjack, except for the extended, pointy dorsal fin and the lack of white on its tail fin. It is a carnivorous species that eats small fish and crustaceans. It is known to scrape off parasites from its body by rubbing up against sharks and other large fish. Many-bar goatfish. This fish has several bands of black on its body and 2 long whiskers on its chin. Its color can vary significantly depending on the fish. Though this species may have the face of an old man, there are, of course, females as well. White-spotted conger. This fish lives in muddy areas of shallow seas, though it will sometimes move to deeper waters. It is distinguishable from other eels by its brown color with white spots. It has a larval form called a leptocephalus. During this juvenile period, it is actually transparent. Gungnir. This monstrous sailfish is the talk of fishermen throughout the South Pacific. He is sly and ferocious and swims several times faster than any normal sailfish. Some fishermen tried to catch this monster, but they fell victim to his attacks. He is called Gungnir after a magic spear in Norse mythology. scissortail sargent. A type of sargent that usually has 6 stripes, though some do not have one on the head. It lives in coral reefs and rocky areas, and it is an omnivore, eating algae, zooplankton, and small crustaceans. It looks similar to the Indo-Pacific sargent, but this fish has a scissor-like pattern on its tail. Longtooth grouper. This huge fish, around 1.2 meters long, is brown with numerous dark bands. It inhabits reefs at depths of up to 200 meters in the open sea. Living on its own, it hides among rocks during the day and emerges when night falls to hunt for its prey. However, it rarely strays far from its territory. Blunt slipper lobster. This reddish-brown shrimp lives in coral reefs and has a thick, plump shape. It feeds at night, eating shellfish, crustaceans, and other small animals. It has been observed using 2 different strategies for opening shellfish: simply wedging them open, or, when that isn't possible, finding the edge of the shell and waiting for the shellfish to unseal itself, then darting a limb inside. Breast spot cleaner fish. This diminutive species looks like a cleaner wrasse, except for the black spot at the base of its pectoral fins from which it gets its name. At the upper side of its body is a gradient from yellow to red. It makes its home in shallow reefs and can often be seen cleaning other fish. Asian sheepshead wrasse. This fish is always born female, but larger ones can change sex and become male, forming a harem. It is the male who has the characteristic hump on the head. The species has strong jaws that let it eat shellfish. It can grow to over a meter long and is known to be calm and friendly to divers. Spiny red gurnard. This fish is easily recognized by its angular head and striking green pectoral fins spotted with small blue flecks. It can make a croaking noise by vibrating its swim bladder. Research suggests that there are several reasons for making this noise, including courtship, marking territory, and threatening other fish. Blue-cheek butterfly fish. This fish, a popular choice for aquariums, is yellow with a mask-like pattern around its eyes. It is only found in the Red Sea, where it often can be seen swimming in pairs around coral reefs. It eats by pecking at coral polyps. Sapphire devil. As the name suggests, it has a brilliant blue body. It lives in shoals near coral reefs, and it has a forceful, territorial temperament. While the male has a blue tail fin, the female's is transparent. When excited, the fish can change color thanks to special cells in its body called iridophores. Japanese flying fish. Easily recognized by the long, wing-like pectoral fins that it uses to escape large predators, this fish makes its getaway above the waves instead of underwater. It bursts out of the sea and spreads its wings, gliding over the surface of the water as if flying. Bicolor parrotfish. Marine betta. Covered with white dots, this fish looks like a field of shooting stars. The complex pattern makes it difficult to tell where its fins and eyes are. Its dorsal fin has a patch on it that looks like an eye, making it look almost like a turkey moray's head. It hides in cracks in corals and rocks. Tasseled wobbegong. This shark is wide and flat. Its color and pattern blend into the sand or reef where it lives, making it hard to see. Its wide mouth, filled with long, sharp teeth, extends around the front edge of its head. The mouth is surrounded by lengthy, beard-like tassels that imitate seaweed. Red barracuda. This barracuda has a small head, large eyes, and a wide mouth. It swims in shoals in shallow parts of the open sea, preying on small fish with its sharp, canine-like teeth. Some specimens can grow to be up to 50 centimeters in length. Big Eye True Valley. Normally shiny silver, the male turns black during mating season, and the juvenile is gold or silver with 6 dark lines. It can live in areas where saltwater and freshwater mix. Smaller fish may swim upstream, where the temperature is similar to the seas and food is plentiful. Piraiba catfish. This giant freshwater catfish has black spots, which fade as it grows, along its body, as well as long barbels. Unlike other catfish, which tend to have large, rounded bodies, this species has a relatively sleek body shape. It is a fierce carnivore that prefers to live in flowing waters. Japanese sea bass. This large, carnivorous fish is well known in the world of fishing. Much like yellowtail, this fish goes by different names as it grows. It follows a meat-based diet that includes polychaetes, crustaceans, mollusks, and other fish. It can sometimes be found living in areas of pure freshwater. Oscar. Among the freshwater fish of the world, this fish is one of the most popular. This is likely thanks to the wide variety of body colors and patterns that it can have. With a lifespan of 8 to 10 years, this fish is traded the world over because of selective breeding and active farming. Freshwater butterfly fish. This fish has well-developed pectoral fins that can be used to glide over the surface of the water when it is seeking prey or trying to avoid danger. Visually, the fins give the impression of butterfly wings. It also possesses air sacs, which are lined with capillary vessels and allow the fish to breathe oxygenated air. Caliba. This fish is believed to have existed since the Devonian period, and to have remained largely physically the same from then until the modern era. It looks vaguely like a dinosaur. The many, pointed dorsal fins on its back reinforce this appearance, and could be considered a living fossil. Umbu pufferfish, green. This freshwater pufferfish has developed a unique pattern on its body. The delicate pattern appears arabesque, and it seems to provide a level of camouflage for this fish in algae-filled freshwater areas. The moss-like color also is likely to help this fish use the shadows of rocks to hide from predators. Payara. This freshwater fish may at first give the impression of a nimble, active swimmer, but it actually prefers to wait for prey to wander too close. Its mouth has two long sharp fangs that peek out from its lower jaw, and it tends to perch in place with its head angled slightly downward, waiting for prey. A kaza. When viewed from the front, this fish is clearly identifiable as a catfish. It has a small, red-colored body, and it has 8 barbels and a venom gland on its dorsal fin. The adipose fin behind the dorsal fin helps it detect water currents. This fish tends to conceal itself near stones during the day, coming out at night to feed on aquatic insects. Unfortunately, its population has been in decline in recent years due to its need for clear waters. Henodus. This placodont lived in the late Triassic period. It lived in fresh and brackish waters, like shallow lakes. It was likely an herbivore, and ate by scraping plants from lake bottoms. Despite its shell, it was not closely related to turtles, but a member of the plesiosaur order. Its most distinctive feature was having a single tooth on the right and left sides of its mouth, along with its sharp, beak-like jaws. Electric eel. It is long and slender, like most eels, and is well known for its ability to generate electricity. It can produce a maximum voltage of around 800 volts, enough to electrocute humans and animals as large as horses. Blotched fantail ray. This ray has a thicker body than most and a long tail with a venomous stinger. Caution is advised when approaching it. Some members of this species have a scattering of black blotches, while others are almost totally black. Red stingray. Its large, diamond-shaped body ends in a long tail with a venomous stinger. The stinger is hard and serrated and has high penetrative power. Not only is it difficult to remove, it also leaves the edges of the wound badly torn. Its skin is the same dark brown as many other species, but the underside has a distinct orange edge. Rainbow snakehead. This snakehead has mottled patterns of bright colors. Its largest specimens are about 20 centimeters long, and it is fairly sturdy, making it a popular aquarium fish that is easy to raise. It is carnivorous, and the adult is territorial. Like the northern snakehead and betta, it can breathe air. Tench. This species lives mainly in still waters where plants grow, rather than in watersheds, and tends to be relatively inactive compared to other fish. Its body, which is olive green on the dorsal side and yellow on the ventral side, is coated in a slimy mucus, much like an eel. Nile perch. This large freshwater fish is popular in aquariums. It is silver green and can reach a length of 2 meters. Its size puts it in high demand as a food source, and its voracious appetite makes a big impact on ecosystems. It is loved by anglers for its strength and agility. Wells catfish. This species of catfish is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, and it is believed to have a lifespan of more than 30 years. Its body color may vary depending on its habitat. Thanks to its large size, it is very popular with sports anglers. Great blue-spotted mudskipper. A small fish with blue and white spots that hides in burrows at night and emerges when the sun is high. A tidal flat resident, it feeds on diatoms and benthic algae, shaking its head from side to side while it does so. When courting, it leaps around with its dorsal fins spread out and its mouth open wide. Banded archerfish. This fish is distinct for its ability to fire water from its mouth, a skill it uses to swat insects out of the air. Thanks to a narrow, water-emitting groove in its mouth, this fish can hit targets over a meter away by pressing its tongue against its upper jaw and vigorously closing its gill slit. Acanthostega. This amphibian lived during the late Devonian period, and the 8 toes on its forelimbs and hindlimbs suggest that it was terrestrial. However, the shape of its tail fin and the fact that it possessed gills suggest a more aquatic life, perhaps even a demersal one. It was generally smaller than Ichthyostega, which lived at the same time. Bluegill. This freshwater fish is a strong predator and prolific breeder. It is known for dark spots behind its gills. It preys on insects, crustaceans, and smaller fish, and is hardy enough to live in polluted waters. The parents protect the young after hatching, and the population is durable enough to threaten various ecosystems. Males with high status in the school have red chests. Japanese crucian carp. This fast-growing fish mainly eats phytoplankton. The spines attached to its gills are called gill rakers. This species has about 100 more of them than other, similar fish. It lays its eggs in shallow waters, at the base of waterweeds growing there. Because of the declining population of this species, conservation efforts have been undertaken to maintain its numbers. Smallmouth bass. This freshwater fish is just as popular as its largemouth cousin among bass anglers. It is carnivorous and preys on a variety of small fish and crustaceans, which can have big effects on the ecosystem. While the largemouth bass prefers warm, still water, this species can adapt and invade cold and flowing waters. Red gara. This fish has earned the nickname Dr. Fish thanks to its tendency to, upon encountering a human in water, consume any dead skin on the person's body. For this habit, and considering that it is able to survive in waters as warm as 37 degrees Celsius, this fish has even been employed in hot springs. Fortunately for the person involved, this fish does not have any teeth and instead consumes its food using a suction cup-like mouth. Betta. This freshwater fish is popular in home aquariums. It has an auxiliary respiratory organ that enables it to expose its face to the surface and breathe air. This is likely due to higher temperatures in its habitat reducing oxygen in the water. The species has been bred extensively to accentuate its beauty. Males are typically larger with longer fins. Pale chub. This species is found in various freshwater bodies, from rivers and canals to lakes and marshes. The dapples of pink on its body make it a popular aquarium fish. It is an omnivore, sustaining itself on a variety of algae, insects, and benthic organisms. During breeding season, males of the species change color. Polka dot stingray. This carnivorous fish is black with white dots and can grow to be around 70 centimeters long. It is one of a number of rays that live in freshwater areas such as rivers, and has a venomous stinger in its tail. Its beautiful patterns make it a popular aquarium fish. Because it is ovoviviparous, it is born to closely resemble its parents. Tokyo bitterling. A small, omnivorous freshwater fish. In mating season, the male's breast and abdomen turn vermilion, which is its nuptial coloring, and the female will lay its eggs on several kinds of shellfish. It tends to live in clean water fed by natural springs, but its habitat has been largely destroyed by urban development, and it is now considered an endangered species. Ginbuna. This fish is gynogenetic, meaning reproduction does not require DNA contribution from a male. As such, most members of the species are born female. Reproduction does require sperm, but it can come from another species, such as carp. Through this process, the newborn fish receives no traits from its male parent, but is born looking exactly like its mother. Green sturgeon. This fish is characterized by a single row of between 1 and 4 bony plates. Its body, which is typically colored in shades of green, has been recorded growing up to almost 3 meters in length. It prefers to live a demersal life in freshwater environments. Japanese smelt. This small freshwater fish lives in schools and feeds on zooplankton and fish eggs. It is preyed upon by large fish and birds. During the spawning season, some schools migrate up rivers, and some descend to the sea. The species is highly adaptable to water quality. Japanese giant salamander. This creature prefers to live near freshwater, though it is at risk of being driven extinct due to encroachments from other species in its habitat. Nocturnal by nature, it often spends the day hiding in burrows in order to avoid snakes or wild birds. At night it preys on crustaceans, frogs, and shellfish. When breeding, it will usually lay its eggs, which are connected to one another like beads, in burrows or in rock crevices. Rosy bitterling. This fish's name comes from the crimson color that males take on during mating season. It lays its eggs in bivalves and becomes fiercely territorial at this time. While the juvenile eats zooplankton, older fish feed on algae. Populations of this fish are declining rapidly, and it is now considered an endangered species. Bull shark. This large, stout shark earns its name with its ferocity and the way it headbutts its prey. It is omnivorous as well as an agile hunter. Along with the great white and tiger sharks, this is one of the most feared species of shark. It inhabits freshwater rivers and lakes as well as oceans, and there have been many reported attacks on humans. Red-tail catfish. This striking catfish sports a bright red tail. It is in high demand as an aquarium fish, possibly because of its unique face. However, as it can grow to be quite large, caring for it requires considerable work. It is called pirarara in Brazil, where it can often be found. Forktail bullhead. This freshwater fish can produce a grinding sound using its pectoral fins. It prefers to eat at night and favors a diet of small crustaceans, fish, and benthic organisms. This fish must be handled with care due to the sharp, venomous spines on its pectoral and dorsal fins. Its body is bulky in front of the dorsal fin but tapers off behind it. Amur catfish. The body of this freshwater fish is entirely scaleless. Instead, it is covered with a slimy mucus. It also has multiple barbels on its jaw, and a long ventral fin that extends all the way to the tail. It can typically be found living on the muddy bottoms of calm rivers, lakes, marshes, and rice paddies. A male of this species will exhibit a unique behavior during breeding season where it wraps itself around the female, almost like a scarf. White-spotted char. A white-spotted char may spend its entire life living in freshwater, or it may migrate to the sea. The body of this fish may vary in color between individuals, but the species is characterized by numerous spots on its back and sides. It is a voracious carnivore, feeding on snakes, frogs, zooplankton, and insects. It is also quite popular with sports anglers due to the fight it can put up. Giant freshwater stingray. This fish is the largest freshwater stingray in the world, with some measuring over 4 meters in length and weighing in at over 300 kilograms. It uses its ampullae of Lorenzini, which sense weak electrical currents, to detect prey, and can attack its prey or defend itself using the venomous stinger in its tail, though it does not actively attack people. Unfortunately, as it is used for a variety of purposes, it is on the brink of extinction. Polka dot stingray, pink. This polka dot stingray has what can only be described as an adorable pink pattern on its body. Due to a genetic mutation, all of the parts of the stingray that are usually black have changed to pink. As this species is already well regarded for its appearance, this peculiar variation could become a real sensation. Northern snakehead. This freshwater fish belongs to the blotched snakehead family. It lives in slow-moving freshwater where lotuses and other plants grow. Its mucosal folds have well-developed capillaries, allowing it to breathe in air. This helps it live in warm water with less dissolved oxygen. It is an ambush hunter, but its personality is less ferocious and more wary. Kanahira. The largest member of the Japanese bitterling family. An omnivore, it subsists on aquatic plants, aquatic insects, and crustaceans. During mating season, males of the species change color to a bright blue-green or pink. While other species of Japanese bitterling are in decline, this fish's population has held relatively strong over the years. Japanese bitterling. Because of this freshwater fish's small size, the organisms it eats, such as aquatic insects and algae, are quite tiny. It spawns its eggs in bivalves, with the brood of young fish hatching and then spending the first month of their lives inside the shellfish. Due to predation by larger creatures and the decreasing number of shellfish to lay eggs in, this species is at risk of extinction. Dorado. This large freshwater fish has a beautiful golden-colored body, though its glow can vary from one member of the species to another. It is likely that the name of this fish, which means gold, is derived from its appearance. It is a carnivorous fish, preying on birds, frogs, lizards, and insects. Despite its size, it is surprisingly quick, which allows it to dominate the food chain in its habitat. Three lips. When it is young, this fish is difficult to tell apart from other species. However, it becomes more distinct when it matures, with drawn-back eyes and a uniquely shaped mouth. During breeding season, the male takes on a nuptial coloration, which is just a subtle reddish tint appearing on its fins. Adult fish are carnivorous and feed primarily on smaller fish. Clown featherback. This carnivorous fish lives in freshwater environments, and it is closely related to the arowana. It has a distinct curved shape from back to tail and typically seeks out prey at night. As it ages, it may develop patches on its body, though this is not true for every member of this species. Ocellated snakehead. This carnivorous freshwater fish has brightly colored, eye-shaped spots on a lovely turquoise body. Due to its metallic shine, graceful swimming, and fair size, many enthusiasts specialize in breeding it. Rough-skinned sculpin. This type of Japanese fluvial sculpin lives mainly in freshwater. Its body is covered in spots or blotches, and it has a flat head that gives way to a cylindrical tail. In spawning season, its gills and anal fin turn red. It then travels out to sea to lay its eggs and returns to freshwater in a process called seaward migration. Zezera. A small fish found in the sandy mud of lakes and rivers. It is demersal, meaning it lives near the floor of bodies of water, where it points its mouth down and eats algae, plants, and detritus that have sunk to the bottom. It tends to act highly territorial during breeding season. Kokanee salmon. Kokanee salmon and sockeye salmon are closely related, though there are some important differences between them. For one, a kokanee salmon is smaller than a sockeye salmon. Additionally, while a sockeye salmon will eventually migrate out of its freshwater environment and into the ocean, a kokanee salmon will spend its entire life in freshwater lakes and rivers, even reproducing there. Japanese hukin. This fish has a fine speckled pattern covering its entire body. It does not die after spawning, and in fact can live for about 17 years. This makes it one of the longest-lived salmonids, though it also grows and matures more slowly compared to related species. Its diet consists primarily of other fish and waterborne insects. Tiger-striped catfish. This bottom-dwelling, nocturnal fish stays at the bottom of the river during the day but actively swims around to feed at night. The coloration and pattern on its body are very similar to a tiger, and its face is characterized by its beady eyes, long trailing barbels, and the way it stretches out in front. The tip of its tail fin is long and thin. Green swordtail. This fish gets its name from the way the male of the species has a tail fin that partially extends like a sword. It has a metallic green, glossy body, and the lines on it are a very distinct feature. It also is easy to keep as a pet in a tank, so the species has many admirers. There are also many active breeders, so the species has variations with different body colors and long dorsal or tail fins. Adonis plico. This fish has a black body adorned with small spots, though the spots fade as the fish ages. It also has spines and hard scales all over its body, as well as a tail fin that is shaped like a crescent with a long, thread-like tip. It's able to attach to walls or rocks using its sucker-like mouth, and it primarily feeds off algae it scrapes from driftwood and rocks. Au sweetfish. This freshwater fish migrates mainly in rivers and can smell of cucumber or watermelon. It feeds on zooplankton, as well as moss that grows on rocks and the like. It can be both territorial and gregarious. It lives for roughly a year, dying shortly after it reproduces. Alligator gar. This large freshwater fish lives in rivers. It possesses floating bladders that are lined with capillaries, allowing it to breathe oxygen. When the oxygen levels in its watery environments decrease, this species is not in danger. As a juvenile, this fish tends to eat small crustaceans and insects, but when it grows up, its diet shifts to include other fish as well. Japanese fluvial sculpin. This small freshwater fish has a flat head, no scales, and a protruding upper jaw. Its color is mostly brown, but varies with habitat. Unfortunately, its habitat is dwindling due to development near rivers, and the species is in danger of becoming extinct. Goliath tigerfish. This large freshwater fish has been the subject of reports about fish attacking people, causing many to consider it particularly dangerous. Its 32 large, sharp teeth do not help dispel these concerns. It takes around 10 years to reach its full adult size. Thanks to its popularity with sports anglers, it is considered a tourist attraction in the region it calls home. Murray cod. A thick freshwater fish that lives in certain rivers. It is extremely popular with sports anglers thanks to its strong pull. For a time there was concern that its popularity had caused its numbers to decline, but catch and release rules and other efforts allowed the population to recover. Cut-tailed bullhead. This member of the Bagridae family prefers clean, cold water habitats, and is capable of producing a rasping sound by making use of its pectoral fins. While omnivorous, it primarily preys on small insects and benthic fish at night. During the day, it prefers to stay out of sight under rocks and stones. Like many other catfish, it has venomous spines on its fins and should be handled with extreme care.